epidemic classes. So an epidemic spread mainly depend on three classes, that is susceptible population. So who is susceptible? According to epidemiology, susceptible class, that is presented by S of T, consists of those individuals who are healthy but they can contract the disease. So such people will be lying in the first compartment of the susceptible population. Then second is infected population. Infected population is actually is a member of population who is suffering from the disease, who has already developed the symptoms also, and it is capable of transmitting the disease to others. So only those people will be kept under this infected category. Then third is recovered population. So recovered population will be represented by capital RT, and it represents the number of individuals who are recovered from the diseases with partial immunity or treatment. The how they have recovered, all those things will be taken care by the treatment rate. So apart from these three classes, there may exist a lot of classes compartments. For example, they may be vaccinated, they may be exposed class, etc. I will show one of my research article in which we have increased the number of compartments according to the requirement of the disease. Now, an epidemic spread in any society happens when infectious comes in close contact with susceptible individual. If it is not contagious, if it is not spreading in this way, then it is not an epidemic. So as the title of my talk was that we will focus on the causes and control strategy. So as I told that the causes will be the incidence rate. So incidence rate, we will now study these incidence rate. Incidence rate is the number of new cases per population at risk in a given time period. So incidence rate actually has drawn the attention of many researchers in epidemiology to find out that how the disease is progressing, and many researchers have made have proposed various incidence rates, but they have proposed linear also, but we have chosen the non-linear to discuss here because linear one are having very rough picture of the situation, so they do not actually mimic with the real situation. So that's why we have chosen three non-linear incidence rates, and based on the type of their disease, we will be choosing the correct one, that is the most appropriate incidence rate to incorporate in our mathematical model. So for today's presentation, I have chosen these three incidence rates: Holling functional type 2, Beddington-DeAngelis functional type, Crowley-Martin functional type. So we will discuss them one by one, and then we'll come to know that based on the type of the disease, the proper incidence rate will be induced in the mathematical model. So first is Holling functional type 2. So the functional f of Si is as beta Si over 1 plus alpha s, or beta Si over 1 plus gamma I. Both are known as Holling type 2 incidence rate, and here B is the transmission rate, alpha is the inhibition taken by susceptible. If we have the available information about the measure of inhibitions which are taken by susceptibles, then the first form will be used. And if we are having the measure of inhibitions taken by infected, then the second form is being used. Of course, a combination of both can be used, that is beta Si over 1 plus alpha S plus gamma I, but then it becomes the another functional type. So Beddington-DeAngelis functional type. So in this one, if we the Holling functional type 2, the denominator was different in the two functionals. One first it was 1 plus alpha s, and second it was 1 plus gamma I. So Holling functional type 2 is useful in the conditions where we know the measure of inhibitions either taken by susceptibles or by infected population. But if we have that measure of inhibitions taken by both type of populations, that is susceptible as well as infected individuals, then Beddington-DeAngelis has proposed this incidence rate, in which he has uh, changed the denominator of the Holling functional type 2, and he has taken denominator as 1 plus alpha s plus gamma I, and where alpha was the measure of inhibition. Measure of inhibition means such as preventive measures taken by susceptibles. So in present condition of corona, we all are taking preventive measures, that is we are using mask, we are using social distancing. So all these things can be taken into account by this alpha for the susceptible, because we are susceptible individuals. So this alpha can take all these preventive measures like using of mask, social distancing, or any other measure of inhibition taken by the susceptibles. Now, gamma is a measure of inhibition effect, such as treatment with respect to the infectives. So, here then gamma will be showing all the inhibitions taken by the infectives. So Beddington-DeAngelis type incidence rate, it considers the effect of inhibition among infectives, but there is a restriction in Beddington-DeAngelis functional type, that these type of inhibitions are to be present in case of low density of susceptible population. So this is a you can say that it is a condition imposed on this Beddington-DeAngelis functional type. So we have three conditions imposed on this, that we can use this Beddington-DeAngelis functional type if we need to consider measure of inhibition taken by susceptibles, if we need to consider the measure of inhibition taken by infectives, and the susceptible population is having a low density. If the susceptible population is having high density, in that case, this particular functional type cannot be used as an incidence rate. It will produce wrong results. Then we have third type, that is Crawley-Martin functional type. This functional response was introduced by P.H. Crawley and E.K. Martin, that is long back in 1989. And he has made a change in the denominator itself. Numerator remains same, that is beta Si, and the denominator has been changed as the multiplication of the denominator presented by Holling type 2. So here the denominator becomes 1 plus alpha s plus 1 into 1 plus gamma I. It is known as Crawley-Martin type incidence rate, where beta is the transmission rate of infection. Alpha and gamma are the same effects of inhibition due to susceptible and due to infected. Here, they have introduced that gamma may also be understood as crowding effect due to infected individuals. So this is additional thing which Crawley-Martin has they have said in their functional type incidence rate. Now, what is the condition? One more condition which has been, which will decide whether to use this Crawley-Martin for the disease which we would like to study or not. So, unlike the Beddington-DeAngelis type incidence rate, the Crawley-Martin type incidence rate considers the effect of inhibition among infectives even in case of high density of susceptible population. So rest of the two conditions were same, that is measure of inhibition taken by susceptible and infected were taken care of by Beddington-DeAngelis and by Crawley-Martin. But the difference is that if the susceptible population is having low density, then Beddington will be used, and if susceptible population is having high density, then Crawley-Martin will be used. So according to the conditions of the infectious disease, we will be able to find out the appropriate incidence rate. Then next was treatment rate. So here we will find out that which treatment rate is more appropriate for a particular disease. So here we have decided to present four type of treatment rates: Holling functional type 1, Holling functional type 2, Holling functional type 3, and Monad Haldane functional type. They will also be given the condition that in which they are more appropriate to apply. So first is Holling functional type 1. So Holling functional type 1 is HI will be, it will be some constant R if I is greater than 0, and if it is 0 then it is 0 if no infectives are there. The Holling type 1 treatment rate is a sensible estimate to the treatment truth of the infection that human has rich treatment source and better treatments method, but medical facilities and subsequent therapies may require some time to be developed and implemented. Therefore, choosing a suitable treatment rate is essential. Now, here the problem is that in Holling functional type 1, it has become a constant R. So it is not very useful in many infectious disease because infectives are going to change with time. So here, there was some changes made in Holling functional type 1, and there have been a Holling functional type 2 were there, where this functional HI will be AI over 1 plus BI, and it is known as Holling functional type 2, uh, where A and B both are non-negative constants. Now, what is the definition of this A and B? That is very important. See, the constants A and B are the cure rate given to infected individual. This is A is the cure rate given to infected individuals, and B is the limitation rate in the treatment availability. So whatever treatment restrictions are available in corona condition, we can think of that, suppose we think of that no beds are there, no vaccine is there, no proper medication is there. So all those things can be taken care of by this B properly. And those who are getting treatment properly, I mean there is no treatment, as you know, but still those who are getting hospitalization and any other medicine people doctors are trying to give, those will be covered with this A. So this is the difference between this A and B. We can understand because of the present condition. So Holling type 2, for any outbreak of disease, the treatment capacity is very low initially and then grows slowly with increased availability of effective drugs, etc. So you can relate this Holling functional type 2 with the current corona condition, that it will be an appropriate treatment rate to incorporate in the mathematical model, because it was a sudden outbreak of the disease. Treatment capacity was very low. That's why lockdowns have been imposed. And then availability of the beds in the hospital, availability of some of the drugs as suggested by the doctors were available. They were growing slowly. So that's why Holling functional type 2 is an appropriate treatment rate which can be applied to this corona condition. What is the limitation of this Holling functional type 2? Due to limited treatment resources, the treatment capacity will reach to its maximum when number of infected individuals is very large. And this condition pertains to newly emergent disease where treatment is very limited. So again, we can correlate it with the current condition, that even if suppose these days Russia has declared that they have found the vaccine, but it will be taking some time in reaching to the common person like us. So this particular limitation can also be taken care of by the Holling functional type 2. Then Holling functional type 3. So in this one, there have been changes made in the numerator and denominator. So HI has been remodeled as AI square, where I were the number of infectives, divided by 1 plus BI square, where A and B both will be non-negative, of course, and they will be the same. A will be the cure rate given to the infected individuals, and B will be the limitation rate in the treatment availability. Now, what is the difference between Holling functional type 2 and 3? Holling type 3 treatment rate defines the condition in which removal rate grows very fast initially with an increase in infectives, and then it grows slowly and finally settles down to maximum saturated value. And after this saturation, any increase in infectives will not affect the removal rate. So you can, correlate that this functional type has, though it is non-linear, more non-linear than Holling functional type 2, but still it is not more relevant than Holling functional type 2 to use in this corona condition. Because in this one, in this corona condition, removal rate is not very fast initially. Then we'll move to our last functional type of treatment rate, that is Monad-Haldane functional type. What Monad Haldane has done, he has represented the functional by HI due to his name. This is a simplified Monad Haldane type treatment rate, where A is the cure rate and B is the limitation rate in treatment availability. In Monad Haldane, the removal or the treatment rate initially grows with the growth of infectives and reaches the maximum and then start decaying. Now, we can think of the situation in which this may arise, that due to the limitation in the availability of treatment for a large number of infected individuals. Now, when supplies of treatment, that is medicine, immunization, etc., are depleted, then in spite of high number of infectives are available, treatment becomes very low. So, such a condition can also be compared with the current condition, that suppose we get the vaccine in one lot, and that lot is divided into various parts of the country, and then something happened, and then we are not able to get the second lot. Then initially we are having the supply of treatment, but then they're getting depleted, and then in spite of high number of infectives, the treatment will become very low. So in this condition, in such a condition of infectious disease, Monad Haldane functional type treatment rate will be very, very useful, and it is definitely giving a clear picture of the disease. Now, such case may arise when there is re-emergence of the disease and spread in of disease in place of limited treatment facilities. That is, you can again we can correlate it with the current corona condition, that if this corona is suppose second wave is coming, and second wave is coming in the places which are far distant from the places where we were having treatment facilities, then if we would like to capture the condition of those areas, then Monad Haldane functional type 2 will be giving a very better results for the clear picture. So this was the discussion for that which treatment rate is to be applied in which condition, and which incidence rate we need to apply. So by using these combination of treatment rate and incidence rate, we will develop a model. So though the model has been well explained by Professor Beragi, but I will just give the overview of this, and I'll skip this part because Professor Beragi has already discussed in detail. So there are some assumptions which have been made for this model. We consider the total population NT at time t with the immigration of susceptible individuals with a constant rate A. Further, it is assumed that the total population is divided into three disjoint subclasses of individuals, namely susceptibles, infected, and recovered, which have already been explained. Now, it is assumed that this is another assumption to develop the mathematical model that the disease can be spread due to the direct contact between susceptibles and infectives only. That is, no other medium is allowed to spread the disease. So we will be first developing an ordinary differential equation model. So ordinary differential equation model have been used in epidemics since 1927 when the first SIR model was developed by Kermack and McKendrick. In 1927, many ordinary differential equations model have been developed for the understanding of the dynamics of the various diseases and to provide the control strategy for the spread of the disease. And further, many models you can see this is SI, that is susceptible and infectives only. SIS, that is susceptible, infectives, and again susceptible. Then SIR, which we have discussed. SIRS, that is susceptible, infectives, recovered, and then again becomes susceptible. Then SEIR, susceptible, exposed, infected, and recovered. SVIR, that is susceptible, vaccinated, infected, recovered. And then SVEIR, that is susceptible, vaccinated, exposed, and then become infected and then become recovered. So such in this way we can see that many more mathematical model containing ordinary differential equations for the various types of infectious diseases were discussed. So this is the basic SIR epidemic model. So this is ds by dt. This is for susceptible. Second equation is for infected individuals, and third equation is for this recovered population. And for this, it has been taken as the initial conditions that there were some susceptibles in the starting S naught, there were some infective in the starting I naught, and there were some infectives R naught as the recovered one. Now, for what changes we have made in this model? See, we have found out that ordinary differential equations are not enough to present the clear picture of the spread and the treatment of the infectious disease. So then we have tried to incorporate the delay differential equations. And there are some factors which are very important to note that why delay differential equations are more appropriate to use in infectious diseases. As presented by Professor Beragi also, the latent period was very well explained by Professor Beragi. So as he said that latent period is the period in which symptoms are not shown. So that period will be taken care of by the delay differential equations in more appropriate manner. So delay plays an important role to understand the dynamical behavior of a system, as delay differential equations exhibit more complex dynamical behavior than ordinary differential equations. It has been observed that time delay can change a stable system to unstable. So this is very, very important. Why we need to induce the delay in the system so that we should be able to know when our system is going to be unstable. Because if it is going to be unstable, because of the presence of time delay, then it will be showing us a very clear picture and we'll be able to draw more results out of this one. And it is of course clear that there is occurrence of time delay in almost all biological phenomena. Delay occurs in getting the treatment, medical care. Therefore, inclusion of delay is justified in treatment rates also. So, not only the introduction of delay in incidence rate, but there is a delay in getting treatment also. So, we have introduced delay in the treatment rate also. So this is how delay differential equations have been presented. This we can see this equation x dash t. This is for a derivative, of course, and this will be a function of xt minus tau 1 xt minus tau 2 till n. So we are taking this tau 1 tau 2 tau n. They are positive constants, they cannot be negative, otherwise they cannot be declared as a delay, and they can be n number of delays present in any system at one point of time, though it is very difficult to deal with n number of delays. So we have introduced this delay in the incidence rate and in the treatment rate. So we'll present one model in which we have introduced a delay in this incidence rate and delay not in the treatment rate. So here we have developed a model ds by dt, as this is the recruitment rate minus mu is the natural mortality happening to the susceptible population, and then there is a delay occurring in occurring here in the incidence rate. This is beta si has been changed to beta s of t minus tau I of t minus tau divided by 1 plus alpha s t minus tau plus gamma I of t minus tau, and the same incidence rate will be present in this equation of infectives, and then treatment rate has been taken on as alpha I over 1 plus beta I bi. So I think because we have already discussed a lot about this incidence rate and treatment rate, so it is clear that which incidence and which treatment we are using here. Now, what is the definition of this tau here, which we are taking as the delay? See here, this tau will be greater than 0, of course, strictly greater than 0. It is a fixed time during which the infectious agent, that is the person who is carrying the infection, or if it is a person, then that is agent, and if it is mosquito, suppose in case of swine flu, then we will take this as the infectious agent, develop in the vector, and it is only after that time the infected vector can infect a susceptible individual. So that's how this tau, that is the latent period, has been taken into account. So we have proposed many models by taking the combination of these incidence and treatment rate according to the problem, and we have published these many papers. Out of these papers, I will present here one model combination so that you can see that which how we are going to use this. So in this one, we have used this again this tau here. This is time lag, but here we have used this time lag, that is delay, in the with the infectives only. So as you can see in the first equation, this is ds by dt. This is a is the recruitment rate, mu is the natural mortality happening to susceptibles, and then this is the incidence rate, beta si over 1 plus alpha I square. So this will be here we are using the delay parameter with the infectives only. So it is I of t minus tau divided by 1 plus alpha I square t minus tau. And then we are not using any delay in the treatment because it is very difficult to make the analysis with two time delays. So here time lag tau equals to 0, it represents the incubation period. I think incubation period was well explained by Professor Beragi. It is an incubation period of a disease is defined as the fixed time during which the infectious agents develop in the vector, and it is only after that time the infected vector can infect a susceptible individual. So this is another type we have developed a model. Now here this incidence rate is the, as we have already discussed, so I think now you have come to know that it is a monad Haldane functional type and with a time like tau. Now in this incidence rate, for a very large number of infectious individuals, the infection force may decrease as the number of infectious individuals increases, because in the presence of a large number of infectious individuals, the population may tend to reduce the number of contacts per unit time. So you can think of that the social distancing, that is number of contacts per unit time, that is this can be taken care of by the monad Haldane also. Of course it can be taken care of by other incidence rates also, but then it will depend on the condition. Here the condition is that the number of infectious individual increases because in the presence of large number of infectious individuals. If the condition is not matching for any other particular diseases, then we can change incidence rate accordingly. This is the treatment rate we have used in this model. And as we have already discussed, but we will discuss for this particular case, that Holling type 3 has been used as a treatment rate in this model, and it defines the condition in which removal rate grows very fast initially with an increase in infectives, and then it grows slowly and finally settles down to the maximum saturated value. And this point we have already discussed, that after this, any increase in infectives will not affect the removal rate. So these are the parameters which have been introduced in this model, and their description is given as, so A is, as I said, it is the recruitment rate per day, recruitment of the susceptible, mu is the natural mortality rate, beta is the transmission rate, alpha is also called as the psychological parameter, a psychological or inhibitory effect. So any effect which lies in these two categories will be taken care of by this alpha. D is the disease-induced mortality rate, delta is the recovery rate, A is the cure rate given to susceptibles, and B is the limitation rate in treatment availability. Then the analysis of this model has been performed, and it has been concluded that the model is well posed, and for biological reasons, of course, the initial conditions of the model are non-negative continuous functions. So this is the analysis part of the problem of the model, which we can take as the condition taking towards the results. Now here I would like to stop my presentation, and I would like to show you one of my paper, which is which will tell you that how we can use another combination. So this is the screen is visible. Yes. Can I get the response, please? Is the screen visible?
It's completely visible, madam.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this is one of the paper which has been published recently, that is in June 20. So that's why I thought that let me discuss this here, because here actually we have not modeled it for corona, but somehow it is relating to the corona condition. So what we have done in this one, we have introduced two aware classes, that is, and those two aware classes are explicit. I will explain what we have presented in this one. Okay, so this is so this is the introduction part. So we'll go to this mathematical model and the basic properties. So what we have done here in this one, we assume that n denotes the total constant population, and it is divided into 5 compartments according to the disease status. Now, what are the 5 compartments? They are very interesting compartments. First is unaware susceptible class. That is, if I compare with the current corona condition, then initially there were people who were in unaware susceptible class. Then the situation was there that a lot of information was available for the that how it is spreading, how it is how we can save ourselves. So there was a class which was fully aware, that is A of FT. Then there was a class exist in the society which can be classified as partially aware class. That is, they know uh, that they have to use mask, but which what kind of mask is going to protect them, they don't know this. This is called the partial awareness. And they are going to the event gathering there in spite of the strict condition imposed, but they are saying, but people may say that, it doesn't, nothing happens here, nobody is there who is infected. So but this type of people, they can be put under this partially aware class. So as I said, this is not, we have not developed this for corona, but it is matching with this condition. Then there is infected individual class, and there is removed individuals. Removed, we are saying, because they are recovered. Now, this is very interesting to know that the unaware susceptible class consists of those individuals who are vulnerable to the disease and taking no precautions against it. Then a fully aware class is there. A fully aware susceptible class involves those individuals who have adequate knowledge and proper information about the spread of the disease and taking precautionary measures against it. That is, they are using a proper kind of mask, they are maintaining social distancing, they are sanitizing properly all the things, they are maintaining personal hygiene. So all such people will be can be put under this fully aware class. Then there is partially aware susceptibles, and we can find, I think, people around us whom we think that they are partially aware. And I think you all will agree with me, you all can see the people who are wearing masks which are of no use at all. So, partially aware susceptible people consist of those individuals who have an incomplete understanding of the spread and prevention of the disease and have low resources available to escape from the infection. That is, we can think of the people who are in service class, that is, who are providing services to us, that may be rickshaw puller, that they may be bus drivers. So they are thought of having not enough resources available to escape from the infection, and they are not wearing proper mask, which is really effective. So, including a behavioral response among unaware susceptibles would unavoidably call for response among fully aware susceptibles and partially aware susceptibles. So, from here, when they will be going to from S class to AF and AP, then there will be particular incidence rate when they will be going to this. So let me show you the diagram for this. So here it is. So this blue one is the susceptible class, and then this light green is the fully aware class, and then this yellow one is the partially aware class, and then both are going to infective class but at a different rate. So from S also people will be going to I, of course. So from S people will be going to I at a different rate, that is F1. From fully aware class, people are going to infective class at a different rate, that is F2. And from partially aware class, people are going to infective class at a different rate, that is F3. And then this I class, the people will be going to this RT at a different rate of H of IT. This is your treatment rate. And then of course they will be going directly also, and then natural mortality will be happening to S class. Of course in AF and AP also there will be natural mortality happening. There will be natural mortality plus disease induced mortality will be happening in I class, and there will be natural mortality happening in the recovered class. So let me go back to the model. So here we will present this, what is this F1, F2 and F3. So if you can see on a screen, the F1 is as beta 1 S of, and here we have introduced this delay factor also. So s of t minus, let me say tau to this, I of t minus tau, that is delay has been introduced in both in the susceptibles and in the infective individuals, divided by 1 plus some other epsilon has been taken and epsilon into r. Similarly, when we are taking this f2, then this beta will be different, and beta 2, it will be changed from beta 1 to beta 2. And here this is s, there is a typographical error in this is s of t minus tau, I of t minus tau, divided by 1 plus epsilon t minus tau. So here the difference is between this beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, because the transmission from susceptibles to infected individuals will be different from susceptible class, from fully aware class, and from partially aware class. So on the right hand side, you can see the model which we have developed using delay differential equations. So it is ds by dt is this k is the we have taken is as a recruitment rate. Delta 1 is the disease induced mortality. Delta 2 is also again one of the mortality. And then beta 1, this is the f1 has been represented here. And then there is an equation for fully aware class, partial aware class, and then infected individuals. For infected individuals, this AI over 1 plus BI has been taken as a treatment rate, and then there is a recovered class. So here the latent period is defined as, on the left hand side, if you can see, the latent period is defined as the period between exposure and the infection. Okay. Now, why we have used the delay term in this, if it is visible to all of you, the delay term in ST, AF and AP classes is introduced because people who are unaware, fully aware or partially aware of disease may consider themselves in their respective classes after becoming infected. So that's why this delay is playing a big role here. Now here the analysis has been done. I will since how much time I'm left with?
Not more time. I can proceed for 10 15
Okay, so I will directly jump to the results because they will be interesting to see. So this analysis part, this is available, so you can see the analysis part. So I'll not go through that. Let me go to the conclusion, numerical simulation, which is showing very good results here. So all these plots are there, which are for the infected individuals versus different parameters, versus cure rate, versus treatment limitations, versus another condition. So here, if we go to this numerical simulation, then this figures are showing influence of different transmission rates on infected population, and it is validating the increment in the number of infected population as the transmission rate increases, which is biologically true also. Okay. Then figure 8a, which 8a and 8b, which are very interesting to see. They show the impact of full or partial awareness. I would like to show these two figures because these two figures you can correlate with the current condition. So it is evident that in the full awareness, rate is high and then infection diminishes at a high level. Partial awareness, this partial awareness in human, uh, you can see this thing. This is the impact of full and partial awareness rate on infected population. So see, if we are fully aware, then the number of infectives are going to be very low, and if we are partially aware, then number of infectives will be quite large. So they are not going to diminish at early stage. So that's why they are very relevant with the current condition. And then this analysis has been performed, and then simulation have been performed for this. Now, the finding of this result, this is very good. The finding of the model consisting of explicit saturated incidence rate with latent period and saturated treatment rate are capable of demonstrating the significant role of latent period and behavior of susceptibles through different subclasses. So I think I have given you a clear picture that how the if a proper combination of incidence and treatment is being taken, then a proper justification can be made to the situation. Now I will return to my presentation. I will take a few more minutes, and then okay, so these are the models which we, okay, yes. Now, what is the next step in this one? So, next step in the model which can be introduced as fractional differential equations. Now, why fractional order differential equations are very important? Because it is well known that the state of many systems, that is biological, electrochemical, viscoelastic, elastic, etc., at a given time depend on their congregation at previous times. Now, fractional order differential equation, they are very important and has a history as long as classical calculus, but it is very much less popular than it should be. So physical meaning of fractional derivative, it is still an open problem, but still it can play a very important role in the modeling of infectious disease, especially because here the memory phenomena will be taken into account. So suppose as we are going through the news that this virus is mutating itself. See, one virus can mutate itself by keeping the memory of the earlier stage. So that memory of the earlier stage for mutation can be captured using fractional order differential equation. No other phenomena, till according to my knowledge, no other phenomena can capture this memory thing. So, memory process usually consists of two stages. One is short with permanent retention, and the other is governed by a simple model of fractional derivative. So that's all I need to say. We are still in process of development of the fractional order differential equation for COVID-19, and this is my research group: Dr. Saloni Rati, Dr. Abhishek Kumar. They have done PhD with me, and rest of the 5 people, Kanika Goyal, Ankit Kumar, Vijay Yadav, Swati, and Mr. Anil Kumar. They are pursuing PhD. Two of them are doing in diabetes, and rest of them are doing in infectious disease. And we are doing good work because, and we are publishing good work also. So I think that a better combination and a better fractional order differential equation model can be prepared for this COVID-19 condition. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for listening me so patiently in spite of all the technical delays. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
It's audible.
It's audible.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We really enjoy your lecture on infectious disease.
Thank you.
It's very much related to the present situation we enrich ourselves through this session. Actually, my research it is also same.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. So thank you again. Now it is the time of questionnaire. I request Sumitra to share the questions shown in the chat box, if any. Sumitra,
Yes, sir. No, sir,
is
there
there
is
any
no
questions?
question. There are no questions, sir. Um, Madam, it is extremely a nice presentation. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very
I
much.
request Dr. Chakraborty if you have any questions. Dr. Chakraborty.
Yeah, yeah, it was a nice presentation, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you very much.
Same thing, like, would you like to tell anything about the use of time delay in your model? Like,
Yes,
what do
sir.
you think?
Mhm. Actually, time delay is, suppose we can, think of the condition that suppose I am there and I don't know I am having disease. I have been transmitted the virus from somebody else, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
I will take time in developing the symptoms. So this
Mm-hmm.
time period will be taken care of by this time delay. That is the thing which is happening before the occurrence of the symptom. Like I can give
Yeah.
you a better example of diabetes. I mean, since I work in that also, and it has produced wonderful results in that. Suppose, have you heard of that? People have been advised to take their meals on the prescribed time only,
Yes,
and
yes,
after that they have to take the insulin, right?
yes.
To avoid this time delay only, suppose they do not consume their meal on the prescribed time, then
Mm-hmm.
what can happen, that can be captured with this time delay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very powerful tool. We have used it in the development of artificial pancreas.
Yeah. Okay.
So all the things, which we can think of, that if we are starting from now, suppose I have shown the symptoms now, so this will be time t equals to 0, right? So this
Mm-hmm.
delay allow us to go before this time t equals to 0. That's why it is called as t minus tau. That is, it is taking me before t equals to 0.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
thank
that's
you.
how.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's the same thing. Like, sorry, there was a phone call. Uh,
Okay.
like, just I'm curious to know just only one thing. See,
Mm-hmm.
as far as this COVID is concerned, if a person is basically infected on a date, and then that symptoms basically they are appearing maybe after some time, maybe 4 days, 5 days, 7 days, whatever it is. So is it
Yeah.
possible to make use of time delay in this perspective, like to just
Yes.
get that time into account when you are modeling that system?
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course, it can. We can make use of this. Actually, there is a latent period for every virus, right?
Yeah.
Suppose I caught the virus today, then it will take at least 5 days to generate the symptom. Now,
Hmm.
if we, somehow, if medical practitioners they are able to capture this thing, that if you have generated symptoms now, then what would have happened 5 days before,
Hmm.
then those five activities of those 5 days also, if they are taking into account, then I think better results will be produced, more people will be treated in due course of time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all. I think that's from my
Yeah.
side. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much once again, madam.
Thank you, sir.
We really
Thank you.
enjoy this conversation also. Uh,
Thank you very much.
Now we are in the last session to complete our webinar, one day national webinar. I request Dr. Gurudas বিশ্বাস to give the vote of thanks. Before that, I request Dr. Chakraborty to share the experience of our program for the whole session.
Yeah, see, it was really nice. Considering the present pandemic situation, I think this is the only option we are having. It is not possible to gather or just organize such kind of an event in person. So I think the best way to conduct this kind of an event right now, the only option is the online mode. And the talks, whatever we have been listening and being delivered, these are well like in line with the present situation. So I am hopeful that it will basically enrich the knowledge and the understanding of the general audience. And probably, if they don't have any questions right now, in due course of time, probably they will get in touch with the speakers and they will have more interactions. But
Mm.
so I feel that it's a successful webinar, and future you will be able to conduct such webinars as well, and that will basically really helpful to the academic community. Thank you.
Thank you for your suggestion, and we must take care about in future or future program. Okay, thank you. So, Dr. Gurudas Vishwas, please give the vote of thanks to complete our program. Gurudas, please.
Hello.
Yes, fine.
Hello, I am audible.
Yes.
A very good afternoon to all. Honorable dignitaries, our principal, Dr. Shima Banerjee, respected speakers, faculties and students in our college, participants and viewers. Now, we have completed the lecture session of this national webinar on mathematical modeling and its real-world applications. This webinar recasts the concept of applications of mathematics in our real life. This event has been very fruitful and beneficial for the researchers. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event to all presented here. I want to express my sincere thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. Shima Banerjee, for presiding over the event and motivating and inspiring us at every step. Our heartfelt thanks goes to all the honorable speakers who have very enthusiastically presented their innovative ideas with marvelous activities. At the end, let me thank all the staff members and students of our college, participants, and last but not the least, our viewers for making this program as a grand success. Once again, I thank one and all presented here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for the success of our program. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity. I will thank and I will take leave. Thank you very much.